just a little bit of world building. And, to me, world building, again, there's some people who would sit down and just write a world Bible for their world. They will write 40,000 words describing the plant that only grows at midnight on the southern continent in the full moon on the month of the dragon or whatever, and they'll make a note of it. I personally don't care for any of that stuff. I just make stuff up. But you want to just find that one detail that is so specific that it sells the illusion of the entire world, that says, I know exactly what everything is here. So in this particular case, we have the robot reached in a leather satchel and came back with a handful of coins, which it placed on the bamboo counter. There were Martian shekels and salt from the drift, and a single lunar credit of the sort no one used anymore. The girl stared in fascination at the coins. Where do you come from? She said. Space? Now, this again, it actually does quite a lot here. Again, it doesn't say a satchel, it says a leather satchel. It doesn't say a counter, it says a bamboo counter. It gives us the specific details of it. It gives us the currency that is being used or not being used in the science fiction universe. Martian shekels, it suggests to us that there are people on Mars and they have currency. Salt from the drift. We don't know what salt from the drift is, but it sounds cool. It sounds cool, and ideally, we think, okay, the author must know what that is. Maybe we'll find out what that is later, or maybe we'll have to read another story and find out. But it sounds specific. It sounds specific to that world. And then I think, you're in correspondence all the time with work. And so when you say a lunar credit of the sort no one uses anymore, are you really talking about all the science fiction when every currency was the credit? They didn't have money, they just had credits, and everyone in old science fiction used credits. And so it's a little bit of a comment on that. It gives you the idea that this is a lived-in world, that you have the mix of the futuristic and the old, with the bamboo, with the leather, with the coins, which is a very old-fashioned concept these days. And we also have that sense of time. We have a sense that this is an old world, that it's worn a bit, we have a mixture of the traditional and the futuristic, which is a lot like China today, which feels very much like a mixture of the future and the past.